I will be speaking this morning on the topic the consequences of ignoring child misconduct. Proverbs chapter 13, verse 24. He that spared his rod hated his son, but he that loved him chastened him betimes. Proverbs 22:15. It says, foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him. Ephesians 6, verse 4. It says, and ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. Children are a precious gift from God, but raising a child requires more than providing food, clothing, education, and shelter. Parents and guardians also have the responsibility of shaping character, correcting wrong behavior, and teaching godly values. So, being a parent is beyond bringing clothes, buying clothes and buying shoes. So, parenting is not just all about providing. Parenting is beyond provision. It talks of shaping destiny, shaping of character. Because the Bible told us when we read that foolishness is bound in the heart of the child. Children are bound to misbehave and behave, but there's always a saying that says, a village where there are elders, children will not eat venture. And call or think is a bird. We have to understand that life is beyond just talking. I know there are a lot of people who are parents today that need to hear this. What a child will become starts with parenting. The destiny of a child. What the child will eventually become. The responsibility is rested on the shoulder of parents. Can somebody give me attention? I wrote, one of the dangerous mistakes a parent can make is to see misconduct and continually ignore it. One of the mistakes, a dangerous mistake as that a parent will make is to see a child with misconduct, misbehavior, and ignore it. And says he's just a child. I've seen parents using that language. They are just children. Leave them alone. They will outgrown it. How does someone outgrown what he is not taught? You will remain in what you know to be the way. I've seen parents ignoring some dirty behaviors and dirty actions from children, saying they will outgrow it. When they grow, they won't do it again. But who will stop them from doing it? How can they stop doing something they never know is wrong? I saw one girl one time having one eye blinded. Eye blind, only one, she can see it, but blind. She was talking to me. I asked her, what happened to your eye? Were you born like this? She said, no. He said, because of this eye, she will never forgive her parents. I said, what happened? He said, as a child, she was playing with the old order of assembly. Then Dan was playing with knife. And then the parents were there. She said, why did they took the knife from my assembly? Why did they wait? Even though we were playing rough play, were they not there to have stopped us? That is a question a lot of children will ask their parents when they grow. Then said the other one threw the knife and the point of the knife entered her eye. Beautiful girl with one eye. That has become something that will make her to miss a lot of things in her lifetime. So we have no choice of marriage, because some guys will come and don't want to consider her because of the eye. That is why when children are small, you do your possible best to position them to live a right life. Because what you fail to tell them today that lead them astray, they will ask you tomorrow. When you don't want to be hard on them, they will be hard on you tomorrow. But when wrong behavior is repeatedly ignored, the child may begin to believe that the behavior is acceptable. What you refuse to correct today may become what you struggle to control tomorrow. Don't just think they are children. They have spirit, soul, and body. They have intelligence. What you inculcate into them, they will give it back to you. You must learn to direct the children. There are certain things you shouldn't do for your children when they are of certain age. I've seen parents that their children are 10 years old, they are still helping them to arrange their rooms, sweep their room for them, dress their bed for them. Then you think that you are caring for your child. You are not caring for that child, you are killing that child. Because a child that cannot organize his or her room cannot organize his or her life. The room of a child is one of the early age assignments of that child. When a room of a child is always scattered, unarranged, and you never teach and see anything about it, you are making that child to grow, that when the child grows tomorrow, he cannot organize his life, he cannot organize his destiny. He can give up on things easily because his brain is not built that way. Number one, ignoring misconduct can turn into a habit. A behavior that is repeatedly tolerated can become part of a child's character. If a child lies and nobody corrects the lie, lying may become normal. If that child insults people and there is no correction, disrespect may become their lifestyle. Proverbs 12 verse 15 says, foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him. I have seen some people misbehaving outside. Big girls. Even in schools, you will see a teacher will flog a child. You will hear the child said, my father have never flogged me one day. You will be the one to flog me. I will show you. What is that child? What is the statement of that child now? Saying that the father have never corrected him. Because for a child to be proud that my father, I'm not saying that if a child does right, he should be beaten. No. For a child to misbehave outside and the child is corrected and say, my father have never talked to me like this. Are you the one that have talked to me like that? My father have never flogged me. You want to flog me? Meaning that when you were growing in that era of yours you are in today, meaning your father never corrected you. That is what you are telling the public. We were in the secondary school those days when a student, my classmate, wrestle with a teacher, bossing, they fought. A teacher flogged the boy pushed the teacher, they dragged themselves outside and were bossing themselves with blow. A student, a child who you overlooked can destroy your life tomorrow. There are a lot of people today who are raising children that will sell all the property they labor for. That they can't maintain them. They can't control them because their brain wasn't built to handle responsibility. Children need guidance because they are still developing their understanding of right and wrong. Number two, it can produce disrespect for authority. The consequences of ignoring child misconduct. When children discover that there is no consequences for disobedience, they may begin to believe that authority has no power. A child who constantly disobeys parents may eventually carry that attitude into school, church, relationships, and workplace. When you want to know a child who is well brought up and who is well trained, you will know them in the public place. Place like school, place like church, place like place of work. You will see comportment. I am talking now, there are some people who are not writing because there is nobody who is going to ask them today after service at home. Bring your jotter. What the pastor said, let me say it again. Nobody. So for that reason, that is how child upbringing starts. There are children that can hide something in their bag to take to school because their bag is never checked or set by their parents. There are children that can use their school note and pull it and share for their friend in school to do, is it kite, you call it? While their friends kept their own because their parents will never check their books. How did you use the book I bought for you? So they are the one who donate. So they are friends who come from a disciplined home that will be flogged. You will hear it down and say, they won't beat me. I can tell my own. Take. They don't say, they will beat me. Say your parents are wicked. It's not wickedness, it's training. When someone learns the art of writing from childhood in the church, in the school, it will grow with that child. You see some people, why something is going on, they are just there. You ask them what was said today. I don't know. There is nothing to go back to look at. Why? Because they were not raised that way. Nobody's going to ask them, come, what did you write? Show me your book. I was always jotting. Until today I jot. Because it's a character that cannot be taken away from me. Correction teaches boundaries. That's what correction does. It teaches boundaries. The consequences of ignoring child misconduct. Number three, it can encourage rebellion. Small acts of rebellion that are consistently ignored can become greater acts of rebellion. A parent may ignore the first warning sign, because it appears insignificant. But repeated misconduct can become increasingly difficult to control. Haven't you seen that sometimes a father will slap a child, the child will slap the father back? They miss it from childhood. Father receiving a slap from his child. Then your neighbor said, that child is evil, that child is wicked. What do you now have to call the father? People don't know the consequences of exposing children to some early thing that they are not supposed to. this early stage of making children to start hustling as if they are the only. When a child starts feeding you at early stage, you lose control over that child. You start demanding for your children, bring money now. What you bring money? What can't you see your mates are giving their parent money? You don't know what their mates are doing that are giving their parent money. When you constantly use that language, they will go and ask their mate and learn from them what is giving them money. And then they will start doing what they are doing. At the end, they may not even give you the money because you are not responsible. When you begin to ask for honor, honor is drawn from a place where you have labor. That's where honor comes from. Am I telling somebody here? Don't ignore every all those small things you are saying. Don't ignore them. Don't look. Don't think, oh, they are just children. They are playing. Watch them. That is why correction should happen early, calmly, consistently, and lovely. The consequences of ignoring child misconduct. Number 4, it can affect other children. Children learn by observation. If one child misbehaves and receives no correction, other children may conclude, if he can do it and nothing happen, I can do it too. And that is why we should give time to our children to teach them, to nurture them, because you don't know who they meet in school. Because there are some children from wayward home that are exposed to dirty things at their early stage of life. They'll bring into your children in school. When you do not teach your children to stand their ground, to know the right thing, they will corrupt that child. May children who are from corrupt home not corrupt your children. There are things that if my mother didn't teach me some of the things, maybe on my journey, I would have been corrupted. I would have been corrupted. Because I was meeting some kind of people that it was my early discipline what saved me. I learned a lot when I was small. It's helping me today. Therefore, parents and leaders must understand that correcting misconduct is not only about the child who misbehaved, it can also protect the character of those watching. Number 5, it can create a sense of entitlement. A child who is always excused may begin to think, I can do whatever I want. This can produce an attitude of entitlement where the child expects everyone to tolerate their behavior. Love does not mean allowing everything. Sometimes true love says no. It's not everything the child cried for you give to a child. Those things make children to start feeling entitlement. Entitlement. So when you can't do it tomorrow, they will forget all the one you've done, as if maybe it is that thing is what you must do. Sometimes tell them no. No also is a sign of love. Not everything should be given at all space. Your neighbor buy their daughter one kind shoe, you want to buy a higher one to prove something. What are you proving? You are proving stupidity. You are proving foolishness. Some people will go as far going to take loan to buy something for their children that will not generate money to pay the loan. You are a failure. You are in fact you are a disgrace to parenting. You go and borrow money so that they will not say that you don't know how to take care of your children. You go and buy it. You are teaching that child a very wrong thing. Those are children that will grow up tomorrow and carry gun to meet their parents. I say you should do this, you don't want to do, because you have spoiled them. You've spoiled their life with petty, petty, petty. It's not everything a child's demand and cry for. Cry doesn't kill you. What you cannot afford, tell the child we can't afford it now. Don't look at people to run your life. Eh? People carry drop. You only have money that you will have. You want to also show off like you want to carry drop, so your family can enter drop. So when everybody come down, they will know you God. Then when you go back home, you go and sow Gary. There will be no food to eat. And you use your money to impress people outside. Then you come back facing the reality, and the reality is suffering. Who are you impressing? Who? You go and buy Christmas shoes for your children that you don't have money. All the design. Please, good to take care of children. Don't misunderstand me. But do something you can do better. Place more value on things that has value. Don't kill yourself. So you won't have high blood pressure. Because if anything happens to you now, the children you are trying to protect, what will not happen to them? So stay alive for them. That is the best thing. Number 6, uncorrected behavior can become harder to correct later. The longer a wrong pattern continues, the more difficult it can become to change. This is why parents should not wait until misconduct becomes a crisis before addressing it. Correcting is easier when the problem is small than when it has become a lifestyle. Correct it when it is small. When you notice something from a child that is wrong, correct it immediately.